All right, welcome back, everybody. Today is November the 15th. I want to play y'all a little clip that I picked up on CNBC this morning from a senator, and they're talking about Bitcoin and the collapse of FTX. And I want y'all to just pay attention to the questions and what was said to her by the commentators. And I want y'all to show y'all this, the bias against Bitcoin. And you'll be able to see that this whole thing has been orchestrated. These collapses, these centralized exchanges have all been orchestrated. This is all orchestrated. It's not a coincidence. It just didn't just happen out of the blue. And now you're gonna see like Charlie Munger of Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, they played this guy like 3 or 4 times already on a they played him at least 3 or 4 times talking about against crypto. And this is what they do to persuade the public. And they haven't played the senator only but once. But they played this guy at least 3 or 4 times, and they keep on putting him throughout the day talking bad against crypto. And again, the crypto and these centralized exchanges, crypto, Bitcoin is different than the exchanges. These exchanges are the ones that took people's monies. These exchanges are the ones that took people down. Just like Enron, just like Lehman Brothers. It was these people who did these things. It was their exchanges. These exchanges were set up, I believe, purposely to try to take down crypto. And then they all come back and commentate all over the TV and scaring you out of your money. They're scaring you out of your from investing in the crypto. Meanwhile, they'll buy it all up. And then they're gonna come back and say later on, based on our regulation, now it's good to get into again. So now y'all can get into it. But by then, what would the price be? So anyway, I don't want to talk too much longer than this. I want y'all to check out the clips that I recorded this morning, and I'll be talking while the TV's playing in the end. I just recorded over it and just turned it down, and you'll hear me just talking after the senator spoke. All right, stay tuned for the clip.
There would have been a framework already in place that would have done that, and give me 3 or 4 other things that we could do right now and that we should do in a bipartisan way. And why aren't we?
Kirsten Gillibrand and I have been talking to both regulators and the regulated community for almost a full year now, floating our draft, getting ideas, and getting them incorporated into our bill. That bill is now in the Senate Finance Committee. It's big and it's comprehensive. So next steps are to get that bill moving, or at least get the priority concepts in that bill moving in various Senate committees. I think it's going to happen in 2023. So to suggest that we could do something very quickly, very knee-jerk, very temporary, is not going to assist the problem. Federal regulators and investigators are just going to have to plow through the debris that is the FTX bankruptcy.
Senator, we spoke together on this broadcast on June 11th. You were with Senator Gillibrand at the time, and I asked you quite directly about the idea that Fidelity was allowing its corporate customers to allow employees to invest in Bitcoin, and whether you thought that was a good idea, given that the Labor Department thought it was a terrible idea. At the time, you thought and said it was a very good idea. Bitcoin at the time was trading at $28,406. So if you were an owner of Bitcoin that day, you had $28,406. Today, you have $16,832. Do you stand by what you said on June 11th?
Absolutely. Do you know how many Bitcoin FTX had when it declared bankruptcy on Friday? 0. None. Bitcoin is unique among cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is a commodity. the other currencies with which FTX was operating, especially their own proprietary FTT, this is clearly a security. This should have fallen under the SEC. This should be where consumer protections and disclosure laws apply. This was a murky company with 130 or more affiliated companies, a very complicated situation where customer assets were allowed to be commingled with other assets. And because of that, customers lost their money. So you're dealing with actually two different entities, commodities, which is Bitcoin, and securities, which is almost every other cryptocurrency out there.
I think Andrew was making a point that luckily you weren't invested in Meta or Netflix, and you had actually more after the Bitcoin. Was that the point you made? You had more than most stocks, or still left, or that wasn't the point?
That wasn't the point, because the truth is, and I know you're trying to make a point.
Everything moves around. I think
against me.
Some stocks are down 80%.
I think the larger point, though, Senator, is actually, first of all, most people in their 401k plans are typically only allowed to be invested in mutual funds. Let's start there. And then separately, Senator, if the point of Bitcoin is to be a, quote, store of value, by default, I think we can agree that $28,000 becoming $16,000 is hardly a store of value.
This is a long-term investment. No one has ever said that Bitcoin is something that you should day trade. And it is not like a stock. It's a commodity. It's going to have a long-term value. Gold's value over the millennium have gone up and down. That may be the case with Bitcoin as well. So I still think it's a great store of value.
But you understand, I mean, Peloton, I mean, there are many
I don't disagree that the stock market has moved up and down.
No, and individual stocks can move much more. And to be,
Correct.
if it was...
Most people are not, hopefully, are not day trading stocks
they
in their 401k plan.
Well, maybe not in the 401k,
And the
but there's a lot of 401ks that are down 30 or 40% from the NASDAQ.
There's no question about that.
And as far as a store...
But if something's being advertised as a store of value...
Well, it's worth $16,500 worth of value is stored in there
I don't
right
think
now.
anybody who had $30,000 thought to themselves, well, this is a great store
Well,
of
I
value.
think if you bought it at $4,000, you're certainly thinking
God
that.
bless you. I don't think that
Or
most people
5,000.
have done that, unfortunately. If you actually go back and look at the majority of people who actually bought...
But Andrew, it's had a better store value in the past 10 years than gold, a better store of value than I can give you 20 stocks over the past 10 years. It's had a better store of value. Bitcoin is in a better store of value than those stocks.
Let's have this conversation
Well, in hindsight,
in 50 years from now.
So, Senator, I guess one of the main questions is this an indictment of crypto, of the entire space, or is it specific just to FTX? And are you still long-term, you say, people want to buy this for the long term? You still, I hesitate to use the word bullish with the Senator, but you think that Bitcoin has a bright future, for example?
I believe Bitcoin right now has a bright future. I'm not willing to say that about other cryptocurrencies. I just think Bitcoin is unique in that regard because it's a commodity. The point here is we need to regulate in this space because the Wild West aspect of it has inadequate consumer protections. And that's why the Lummis-Gillibrand bill needs to start moving in January when the new Congress convenes.
Hey, Senator, the one question I would ask is, this is a company obviously based in the Bahamas. Most of these exchanges, the big ones, with the exception of Coinbase, are based offshore. What have you done regulatorily?
Well, we need to make sure that we're balancing innovation with consumer protections so these companies know the rules of the road here in the United States.
How would it be regulated?
Well,
You said the reason why regulators have such trouble regulating all of this, and I think are struggling about what to do, is because if you have these exchanges and you have these currencies that are global, and they're being operated in all sorts of other places with completely other rules, they have an impact back here, right? So then the question is, you can either block them, meaning people can't trade them, that's one option. You can create all sorts of KYC rules and other things. I mean, what would have you done
All right, y'all.
to prevent...
Okay, y'all. So y'all just heard that little clip. I turned it down. The senator is actually still talking. She's still talking on the TV right now, but y'all heard that, right? And so that's what I was trying to say in the other video that I made earlier about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is here to stay. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. And you see the one of the commentators, I forgot his name, the skinnier guy, right? The younger one. Now, he was doing his best to try to go against Bitcoin. He was doing his best. And this is the establishment. And I think this whole thing was a setup so they can bring in their regulations. Because it's not coincidence that all these companies, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, FTX, the whole shenanigans, they went down. Now, when Celsius went down and Voyager went down, FTX said that they were the saviors to come in, and what they were planning on doing was actually buying out BlockFi and Voyager. They said they were coming in and bail them out with the money. Now, all of a sudden, FTX was actually doing the same thing as they were doing. And so now that caused an effect where everything falls. So BlockFi, Voyager, and they were huge in themselves because a lot of people have put their money on their exchanges. And again, these are centralized exchanges. And I want everybody to clearly understand that. That is not Bitcoin. These are exchanges, and these were centralized companies. Now, you heard what she said, or you heard what he said. Basically, the BlockFi FTX CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, was also giving money to the Democrats. And he has links with the Democrats. And this is all coming out. So Warren Buffett is a Democrat. Charlie Munger is a Democrat. Now, all of a sudden, all these crypto people who are against cryptos are coming out on TV talking. And this is to scare the public out of Bitcoin and crypto. But I'm glad that senator came on there and she told you. Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin has a strong future. And the argument that Joe Kernan was had against the other guy, basically talking about crypto being being going up and down, and people that put their money in Bitcoin at 28,000 and then it dropped down to 16,000. How can that possibly be a store of value? Look, y'all, you could clearly see now that these people are trying to manipulate your minds so that you will never own Bitcoin. As I told you before, Bitcoin is being bought up by the elites, and they're trying to buy it all up so that you won't have any. I'm not trying to give you financial advice, but I do say, go in there and get your Bitcoin before it's too late. These are good prices. They tried to shake the market up, and this was their plan. But if this is the best thing they can do, Bitcoin is still here. Bitcoin is still standing strong. Look at it. Bitcoin at the bottom of the screen down there. It is still strong. It is still in the green, and it will go up a lot higher. So do not let these people fool you or shake you out of your crypto. The FTX, he had all kind of ties, the CEO, Brinkman. And you wouldn't be surprised as this thing is nothing but a whole big setup, because you know what? There's no such thing as a coincidence this big. These are all centralized exchanges that tried to take Bitcoin down. They tried to take crypto down. Look at this guy. Here's another Democrat, Charlie Munger. Now, I don't even want to hear what he got to say. He works with Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway. Now he comes out and running his mouth. And see, I really don't like to hear his mouth. I don't like to hear what he got to say. But I'm just sick of these people, y'all. We're not going to be manipulated anymore. they're scared because they're losing their power. These guys right here have had the power for a very, very, very long time. And they had everything in their control for a very, very long time. And this is why the world is in the state it's in, because of these greedy guys like this that own everything. And they want to make sure they keep it that way. But Bitcoin is giving freedom to everybody on the planet. Right now, each and everybody can go out there and purchase a little bit of Bitcoin for themselves. You can go out there and get your own Bitcoin. And that's why they want to scare you out of yours so that they can own it all. These guys act like they're not in crypto. Every company out there is going into crypto. And he knows it. That's why you got QR codes all over the TV set. Look at those QR codes, those little barcodes everywhere. Because everybody would be using crypto. Right now, you're getting paid in your bank accounts already in digits. When money is deposited in it's in digits. These guys want to create a central banker's coin or a CBDC coin where they can have full control, and that is not Bitcoin again. They want this programmable money so that they can have control on telling you what you can or cannot buy with that money. This is what they want. And they want to give it to you so that if you get this money, it can run out and say, well, if you don't spend it by a certain time, it's basically use or lose. And you only can buy certain things with the money. And if you don't buy the right things with the money, they can shut your money down. That is not Bitcoin. So do not be fooled, y'all. All right? So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.